This is some trout that Austin caught, honestly, a couple hours ago.
Yep.
And we're having it for supper tonight. That's some cornbread that I made yesterday or day before. That's some slaw that I made that we've got left over. Didn't make it tonight. Some green beans that I just picked that we steamed, and some rice.
It's a good meal right there.
A friend of mine gave me a little book last week, two little books actually, and the little books are special. I wanted to share this with you for just a minute if I could, but it's God's Message, and it's a book of 365 daily meditations for home worship. And that's a good thought, that's a good thing. The front of the little book here says, "To my very dear mother, December 1933. This is an old little book. It's been around a long time. I don't know how many people held it in their hand. I don't know how many folks have read it and cried. if they read what was in it, I don't know how many times they were blessed by what they found in it, but this little book with others, they often lose their value because the dear mother, I'm certain 1933 is passed. Probably the son or daughter that gave it to them has passed. It's wound up in a little bookstore or a thrift shop or something like that along the way. Maybe seemingly lost its value, but it is a daily devotion. And on July the 3rd, I opened it up and I read this little story. It's very, very short, but it's important today that we read it. It's important that you hear it. The scripture is taken from the book of Matthew chapter 11, verse 25 to 26. And it says, "At that time Jesus answered and said, I thank God, O Father." It skips a little bit. It says, "For it seemed good in thy sight." And the story that goes with this verse of scripture says, a visitor to a school for the deaf and dumb wrote on the blackboard, "Why has God made me to hear and speak, and not you?" If you were to visit a school for the deaf and realize that there was a difference in you and them, would you write that on the blackboard? Well, the visitor to this school, that's what he wrote down. And the children, it said, the little ones sat dazed before that dreadful whine. But a little girl arose, and her eyes were swimming with tears. As she walked to the board, she wrote, "Even so, Father, for so it seemed good in thy sight." How precious it is to believe that He doeth all things well, that He knows, cares, chooses, and that we are not children of circumstance, but we're children of an infinite, loving, Heavenly Father through faith in Jesus Christ. And He's included a few of the words here to a song that says, "Simply trusting every day, trusting through a stormy way. Even when my faith is small, trusting Jesus, that is all." Do you trust the Lord today? You trust Him? That's a big question. We every one of them to nod our heads, I certainly do, and say, yes, I trust the Lord. But as I read that, and it began to speak to my heart, and I read the scripture, and I started to consider my trust in the Lord.
I've got to tell you about some milk thistle that I got off the side of the road. So, I've been seeing milk thistle blooming in the fields. It's almost done now. It blooms in the spring. And it's this beautiful, kind of tall plant with these almost like fringe-like, if you look up close at them, pink flowers, and they're spiky. The flower part itself is not sharp, but they have some kind of spikes on them that are sharp. Well, I've been seeing them growing in the field, and I thought, I think that's milk thistle. I looked it up, and it was, and I kept thinking, you know, I would love to stop and get some of that, but I can't just hop the fence and go in someone's field that I don't know. And then I thought, well, for next year, I'll just order some seeds online. Milk thistle is good for liver detoxification, so that's just something that I would love to have growing in my yard. It's also just incredibly beautiful, I think. So there's this one plant of milk thistle that is actually really close to Miss Cindy's house, and I seen it every Sunday going to and from church, and then finally it wasn't there anymore because, you know, it died and it fell because they get pretty tall and eventually they just fall over. The last couple times going to church, I noticed it wasn't there anymore, like I said, but I didn't see it. I thought it just fell down in the weeds, and it just wouldn't really be feasible for me to stop right in the middle of the road and go and get some. Okay, a couple days ago going to church, I noticed it had fallen towards the road. What's strange about that is if it had not previously fell towards the road and it had fell kind of back in the grass, something moved it and made it fall towards the road. I had been keeping my eye on this milk thistle plant, so I don't know if the wind got it. It would have pretty much had to have like stand back up and fall the other way. I'm not trying to say the plant came back to life or nothing. But I felt like that was my clear sign that it was okay for me to stop and get some of this milk thistle. So the other night on the way to church, I was with Katie and Mom and Ira, and they stopped, and I ran out real quick. I only got a tiny bit of footage because I was in a hurry because there was people behind us, and I clipped me off these flowers of milk thistle. One of them is pretty. It's still blooming. It's almost done, but I've got it in my window above my sink where I can see it. And then the other ones I've got drying on my little rack where I've also got some other herbs drying. And I'm so excited about planting this milk thistle next year. And I'm also just super elated that it came from my own community. I think that's so special. I know that this is rather dorky, but I just thought it was something cool. While Corey and I's days are similar, they're not always exactly alike. We usually both find ourselves taking care of babies, cooking, trying to go see Granny, maybe doing something outside, gardening, harvesting something. But we do things that are different, and of course we're always filming. One thing I need to do today is I'm gonna do two things, kind of two videos in one day. Oftentimes that happens, especially for videos that don't all take place at one time, like multi-part videos. I'm gonna film and take you along for this day in the life, some things I'm gonna do today, but I'm also going to finish, hopefully, if I have enough time between Ira's naps, I'm hoping to finish my video about the gym show. That'll be a separate video, of course. I went to the gym show, let's see, today is Saturday. I went Thursday, and I took some film, and I wanted to wait until I got back home. And I got home late in that evening, about 5 o'clock. Corey and Mom watched Ira all day, and he did really good, they said. So I felt great about that. I wanted to show everyone what I got at the gym show when I got back home and kind of lay it out and go through it, show you the rocks, show you the polished stones. And it was just too late in the day to do it. So that's something I'm gonna film today for a separate video, showing you some of that. And right now, I'm actually going to harvest a few things. I'm going to get some onions. I might get one or two other things. I think we actually have some tomatoes maybe in the house. Might even have some cucumbers in there. There's definitely some little tomatoes behind me. I'm wanting to make a salad because a few days ago, earlier maybe in the week, I went to Aldi and bought an organic salad mix. It was on sale. And I want to make a salad to eat for lunch and maybe just something we could eat on for a couple days. I'm looking to add some onions, so I know there's some out here to the salad. And I need to check inside and see about what's already been picked in there. But that's probably my first item of business, is constructing the salad. There are actually some onions up here in this bed. So I'm gonna take that one. These are just kind of laying, they're pretty much done laying on top here. There's a few others. I might take this one and this one, and maybe that'll be good for the salad. I came back in to get a bowl to pick a few of those tomatoes, and I found these cucumbers in the crisper drawer, so those will work great for the salad, and I don't have to pick any more. I've got some tomatoes here. There's lots of them. They are great for a salad because they're just the perfect size. You just slice them in half. A full-grown tomato will be fine, but I love just slicing the little ones. container. I'll probably have to put them in a bowl to slice everything that's gonna go in with them and toss it and then stick it back in this container. Gave it a good toss and mixed all of this in, and now I'm gonna work on making a homemade salad dressing. The regular recipe is for a vinaigrette, like a balsamic vinaigrette type of deal. That's my favorite salad dressing. Anything that's vinegary. This calls for a half a cup of olive oil. I always go just a little shy. I don't want it to be overpowering like the olive oil. 3 tablespoons of vinegar of your choice. This is balsamic vinegar. If I get the lid off. Here's a brand new thing of it. I just love the vinegar taste. I mean, I like a Caesar salad or a Thousand Island. I've made those, but this is your all-around best for just anything. Oh yeah, it smells great. I love that color. You can see it in the jar, just kind of like bubbling up. Need my tablespoon measure thing back because the next thing is a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I went a little heavy on that, that's okay. I like to make the salad dressing in a jar like this so I can put the lid on it and shake it and combine all these ingredients. And then it's easy to store in the refrigerator. A little bit of salt. I can put the link to this recipe in the description below as well. If you're like, oh, that looks good and I like vinaigrette dressing, I got you covered. You can find it there. This recipe also kind of has a little bit of an interesting twist. It's maple syrup or honey. You can do either one. I do maple syrup. Tablespoon of that. That sweetness right there kind of offsets some of that vinegar. Make a little bit of pepper to taste. This is probably not the most efficient way to do this, but that's okay. It works. Last but not least is 2 cloves of garlic, pressed or minced. Old Katie is lazy and I am not putting fresh garlic. I've got some of this minced stuff and I just kind of eyeball it, you know, maybe just a little bit more here. That'll be good, something like that. Shake. One thing I will say about this dressing, you're going to store it in the refrigerator, and when that olive oil gets cold, it's going to solidify and set on the top. One thing that you can do when you know that you're going to eat the salad, whenever you're going to, a little bit beforehand, ahead of time, set this out of your refrigerator. You can just let it come to room temperature, or if you forget to do that, what I do is run it under the sink in hot water. Or if you have a tall cup, put you some hot water in it and put this down in the cup, and it will quickly liquefy the olive oil again. And before you use it, of course, always just give it a good shake, and that'll mix it all up again. But it's really delicious on a salad. Okay, and the next agenda on my day in the life is to go down under the porch where I have my rock stored, because I'm looking for a certain rock. But I came out here to check on Mom and Dad. Dad's been mowing and weed eating, and he told me something interesting.
Yeah, don't eat one of those. I mean, they're good for me, but don't you eat one of them because they're hot.
Spicy?
Ain't bad, but what'd you say they were?
I think marchant or marchant. I don't know how you say it. But
Yeah.
Does it have like the flavor of maybe like a banana pepper? Because it kind of looks like one.
Just kind of peppery flavor, but it's got the heat in it too, and it's good. I like it. I'm gonna use them to when I make my green tomato pickles. That's what I'm gonna use.
Cool. That looks like what we call a writing spider. It ain't real big, maybe a little bigger than a quarter. They can get big, but that one's not too mighty, but it's pretty. Those don't spook me out for some reason. He's okay. This is my precious plant that the deer ate, but I brought it back into this bed in the yard and saved it. Isn't that so cute, that tiny little bloom? It's just like, oh no, I didn't mean to touch it like that. I don't want to break it. It's just so dainty. And it's really hard to get it to focus because it's very light in color. And this is kind of like some harsh sunlight on it, but it's just the cutest. It's so dainty and sweet. This right here, that little stalk that you can see jutting out right in front, that's what it was left after the deer ate it. But it's turned into this. That's 3 separate stalks. The plant has never done that well here. So I'm thinking that putting it in this bed up here, it's either getting more sunlight or the soil is just better, because it's really doing good up here. So cute. Part of my day in the life is always coming to try to find Binks and figure out where he is and what he's doing and pet on him and make sure he has what he needs. You've got grass on your head, buddy. You've got grass on your head right now, buddy. Yeah. We're moving forward with this day. It's lunchtime. I'm feeding Ira in his high chair. I'm gonna get something to eat too. And I got out some of my fresh milled flour cookbooks that I like to use. I'm looking for a recipe for something like yeast rolls, something that would be easy. Tonight we're gonna have leftover chicken casserole that I made. We're also going to have a salad, the one I made this morning. And I wanted some sort of bread to go along with it. I have a loaf of sourdough bread that I just bought at the store, but I'm kind of just wanting something that I made, something special. I made the chicken casserole last night. We almost ate it all, but there's still gonna be some left. I got out this book right here. This is my, I'm kind of holding it really funny. This is My Grains in Small Places by Kara Britch. She is a fresh milled flour expert in my eyes. And she has some really, really great recipes that I've done. She has a recipe for yeast rolls I've never done, but it looks doable, looks easy enough. I'm gonna start that right now. She uses some einkorn, some kamut, some spelt, some wheat. That's the cool thing about her cookbook. She has a variety of ancient grains that she uses. This recipe is calling for hard white, so I got out my hard white wheat that I have, and I'm gonna mill up, looks like 3.5 cups. I can show you here. This is the recipe. This is the yeast dinner rolls. There's some Hawaiian rolls over here, but I'm gonna do these. This is the front of her book. It's a great one. It really is. And I also have out this one. I know I've showed you guys this before. She also has a recipe for rolls that I want to try, but I'm gonna do that one first. I'm gonna weigh this flour and hopefully I'll have exactly what I need. Ooh, that is so close. Almost. I'm going to do just a little bit more. Seeing if the amount I added will do. Oh yeah. It's almost exact. 420 grams is what I need. I'm gathering and weighing some of my other ingredients. I'm close though. I'm just right there at it. Okay, perfect. My recipe calls for room temperature eggs, and this is one way to warm them up real quick. Stick them in the sun, they're getting close to room temperature. I also put my butter out here in the sun and it got soft really quick. That's one natural and quick way to soften the butter, because if you put it in the microwave, it'll always be uneven. Part will still be solid and part will be melted. In here we have the water, the sugar, the salt, the eggs, the butter. And I think that that's all that's in there. Now we just gotta mix it together. It would probably help if I plug this bad boy up, wouldn't it? Now it's time to add some of the flour. Before I put on the dough hook, I'm gonna let it rest for about 15 minutes to let the flour begin to absorb all of the liquid. That's what the recipe says to do, and then we'll put on that dough hook and knead our bread. All right, here goes the yeast. Dadgummit, I got olive oil on my shirt, and I really like this shirt. Now that just blows. My ball of dough has been rising for almost an hour, and it's getting close to doubling in size. Pretty close. I'm trying to cut out my little rolls. This recipe is going to make 12 rolls, and it was hard to try to cut the dough to get 12 even rolls. So I ended up having a few that were bigger than others, but I figured it wouldn't matter because we're going to eat them anyway. These are going to sit in here and rise for just a little bit longer, maybe 40 minutes, until they're puffy, and then they're going to go into the oven. These look done. And I'm now going to brush them with a little butter while they're hot. Yeah. They smell really good. I can't wait to try one. I also had a sleeve of cookie dough from Azure. These are chocolate chip cookies. I put them on their pans, and they're gonna go in after I get done warming up the chicken casserole. I think this is how I'm gonna end my day in the life. It's about 9 o'clock. I was out for an evening walk here. Ira is asleep, and this is my view. Isn't that pretty? Wow. Love those clouds. This is one of my favorite views up the holler above Corey Nelson's house. I'm almost certain that the video quality will be terrible, so I'll just quickly say what I need to say and hop off of here. I know I've mentioned before, and I'll mention it again. We are considering getting cameras, like mirrorless cameras, you know, not DSLRs, but something to actually video with. Anyway, what I wanted to end my video with was I was going to let you know about another YouTube channel. I'm sure I've mentioned him before. The channel's called Ghost Town Living. This man named Brent bought an abandoned mine, Cerro Gordo in California,
And he posted a new video today, and I think he may be exploring some of like the long lost, like lowest levels of the mine that nobody's been in forever. Very excited to watch it. If you don't know about his channel, look him up. Ghost Town Living, Cerro Gordo, the mine that he bought and that he lives at. And he has just an amazing channel. I love watching what he does there at the mine, and some of the other things that he gets into is just really, really interesting. If you're interested in like mining, underground operations, historical stuff, he does a little bit of all of it. He is definitely a keeper of the history at Cerro Gordo. With that, I'm going to go up the hill because, you know, it's 9 o'clock. It's time for me to get in the bathtub, wind down for the day. I hope that you enjoyed this day in the life. And I guess without further ado, God bless you, God keep you, and we'll see you at the next one.